Singaporeans in a survey have identified items and activities they say are important to lead a normal life, and these include home appliances and family time. The findings come from two new studies by the Singapore Management University and Institute of Policy Studies. It also reveals that people want the government to help pay for these essentials. The findings will help inform and shape social policies to uplift vulnerable groups and individuals. Social and Family Development Minister Masagos Zulkifli says Singapore must ensure its social assistance remains reasonable and sustainable, even as policies and programs are adjusted to support the changing needs of its people. He says while those surveyed prefer the government to pay for certain needs, it may not always be possible. The minister says schemes like ComCare will continue to be reviewed and updated to cater the needs of vulnerable groups. Mr. Masagos was speaking at a Singapore Management University symposium.
Fund essential items for those in need. Most Singaporeans prefer not to pay taxes or more taxes. Instead, they prefer to reallocate government spending from other areas. But the latter involve hard choices. Reallocating means taking away from one area, which some fellow Singaporeans value greatly, in order to provide more resources to fund this area, which we value greatly.
The symposium discussed topics on supporting Singapore's vulnerable groups. Nearly 200 academics, members from the social service sector, and government agencies attended the event. Mr. Masagos says separate studies done by SMU and the Institute of Policy Studies on the needs of Singaporeans will inform ongoing reviews of social policies. And among them is the Household Needs Study, where Singaporeans identified essential items. The study surveyed over 4,000 people from May 2022 to February last year. And here are some of the key findings. At least half of the respondents have identified 40 out of 51 items and activities as essential. Nearly all say a refrigerator is a must. Other highly ranked items and activities include a smartphone with a data plan, as well as family bonding activities outside of the home. On the flip side, private tuition for children, paid streaming services, and an annual staycation are deemed as non-essential. Now, the study also finds that housing types and income groups affect how respondents feel about certain items and activities. For instance, residents in one- or two-room public housing flats believe an air conditioner or broadband plan is a luxury. Those from the lowest income groups also view social time and leisure activities as less essential.
Many of us would agree about what are essential basic subsistence needs. However, there are some different views really about what are considered dignified living though. Now, what we are seeing more and more is about vacations, more and more is about actually even aircons, and also about whether do we have handphones with data plans also. So these are things that actually when clients feel a perceived lack, and it does affect their self-esteem.
An Institute of Policy Studies poll surveyed 2,000 residents last month on the topic. Most people say the government should bear the cost of making sure these items remain accessible to all. They prefer to reallocate government spending from other areas to fund such provisions. Respondents feel it should not come from higher taxes. And those surveyed also say resources could be drawn from the arts and sports to fund those needs. Now, the study also makes recommendations to better support more vulnerable groups, and these include targeted interventions to help those living in one- or two-room flats access essential items. It recommends increasing awareness to encourage savings and says the community plays a role in uplifting these individuals.
For organizations who are doing well in Singapore, for those who have, our top income earners, this is a way they can see, hey, I can do my part, to bring the community up, together. And I think at the end of the day, it will make us a stronger and more stable nation.